Take a look, bro. This is me just 4 or 5 years ago, being unproductive and unconfident. I just didn't know what I want to do with my life. I knew only one thing. Back then, I just wanted to play, especially League of Legends and Fortnite. And yeah, just scroll on social media for the whole day, even though I had big goals and ambitions. But I just didn't do anything. I don't know why, because my mental health was so bad back then that I just couldn't get myself to do anything more productive. This is maybe the typical story of a nerdy teenage boy who decided to get his life together and become an entrepreneur. Yoo-hoo! Yeah, but there is nothing wrong with being unsocial or not knowing what to do with your life. But the issue comes, in my opinion, when you're not bothered about your future. For most of my life, I was just pretty much a loser without friends, but with extremely high ambitions. The bad part is that I've never actually got the confidence and the balls to start doing the things I want to do and to make my goals come true. Maybe that is relatable too. Yeah, and in summer of 2018, a friend of mine introduced me to the gym because I've always watched these body transformation guides and videos on YouTube about the guy that, yeah, he was skinny back then and he started going to the gym and now all the girls like him. Blah blah. We all know the story, right? Yeah. And the problem was that I was only going to the gym for a couple of months till the end of the summer because that's when I got back in my hometown and I had to go to school again. And drummer rolls, I started playing Fortnite. Come on, it was season 6, I couldn't miss that. And with that, my productivity stopped for another whole year until the next summer, pretty much, when I started going to the gym again with the same friend of mine. But the only difference was that he didn't stop going to the gym for the whole year I was not going. And because at the beginning we were pretty much at the same starting point, but now he was a lot bigger than me. And I felt a little bit bad at that time because I remember that he was going to the gym for the whole year and I just didn't do anything at all. And yeah, that was maybe one of the first times where I felt something it's not in place. I always knew that I was made for something bigger. I always had that perception in mind that no matter how much time I waste, I'm just going to get successful no matter what later on in my life. Maybe that's relatable because, yeah, I've heard a lot of people have this perception, but if you don't take the action, it's not gonna be like that, trust me. At around that time, I met a girl who I thought liked me, but she didn't, and I forced myself into a depression. How stupid that is. Yeah, and when COVID rolled, I just sat in my room, again playing Genshin Impact this time, and watching TikTok about mental health because I found it relatable at that time and it was the only escape coupled with video games of my reality because the school wasn't going so well. I was just cheating on tests, not listening in class, and I knew that I want to be a YouTuber, but still I didn't do anything. I didn't even record one video. In 2022, I was going to the gym only again in the summer. Looking back then, I think it was some kind of a tradition to go only the summer and not the whole year. But yeah, and I remember going to the gym in 2020 and the friend of mine was again much bigger than me this time. But I finally grabbed my balls and I decided to change that And after the summer was over in 2020, sorry, I decided to start going to the gym in my hometown and actually prove to myself that I can do it. And it actually went pretty well until October came and the gyms were closed because of the coronavirus, which didn't stop me actually, which I'm proud of, because I was still managing to work out at home or going to a street fitness. And yeah, looking back then, I'm pretty proud of myself that I didn't give up back then. But I was still playing at games, just going to online classes, playing League of Legends, playing Genshin Impact, watching anime, and watching TikTok. And my mental health at this time wasn't that better. But yeah, anyways, for the next pretty much year 2021, I was the only thing that I was doing is workout pretty much, not that often, but it was still better than nothing, and it was still better than the previous years. So I guess it was better again. Yeah, it was better, but this was the only thing that I was doing, still watching TikTok, blah blah, everything else. And then 2022 came, and I, as I told you, I was watching TikTok so much. But then Andrew Tate started popping up on TikTok, I remember. And in the summer again of 2022, I was on a holiday with my friends, with two of my friends. And that's when I decided to actually change everything. I didn't want to be the loser I was for my whole life. I was just, how stupid that is. I was just wasting my years wanting to be productive and waiting for something to change, but actually the change was in myself the whole time. I just had to grab it. And Andrew Tate was such an inspiration for me. There was a lot of hate for him, but actually I understood what he's trying to say, and I'm pretty grateful that he popped off at that time, because if he didn't, I don't know where my life was going to be right now. By the way, at that time I didn't look like I was training, because my structure is this, that I'm just tall and skinny, and so no matter for how long I train, I still don't look buff. Here are a couple of examples. When the school year started, my plan was to try different business models, like dropshipping and SMMA mostly at first. And then I tried it first with dropshipping. I failed because I expected to be a millionaire by the second week of doing it. By the way, I didn't do it for 2 weeks, but just yeah. And anyways, and after this I tried SMMA, which I've tried it for 2 months, around 2 months, without any results, because I was just trying to spam doctors and chiropractors in the USA, and just calling them, from searching them on Google Maps, like chiropractors in Michigan, and then calling everybody from Skype. I paid for Skype to have a US phone number, and I thought this was the thing that is going to make me rich, but it turned out it didn't. But that doesn't matter, because after this I found the core principles that I have to install in myself in order to be more successful. I started training consistently, I started reading consistently, I actually started uploading into YouTube for the first time in my life, and I felt so much better, I'm not gonna lie. I felt so much better than ever before, because this was the only period that I actually had the guts to do the things I know are right for me. you can see some examples for before I started doing these things and after. I think the difference is astonishing. So enjoy a couple of pictures and a beautiful montage from me in 2023, I guess. So let's conclude what this actually means to go from a geek to a man. Being a geek is a definition of someone who has ambitions, let's say, but doesn't actually do anything towards them, that doesn't actually do the things he knows are right, but just you don't do it because he has bad mental health. He just wants to play and nothing else. And a man, to be a man means to be responsible for everything that you're doing with your life. It doesn't matter how hard it is or how much you want it. You just have to do it, being responsible, being disciplined, and always doing the things you say. Because if you snitch on your word, you're not a man. You're just being a pussy.